Namaste. My name is Manisha Singh, Assistant Professor in Department of Food and Biotechnology under Faculty of Agriculture and Veterinary Sciences in Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. I am teaching you subject Fruits and Vegetable Processing Technology for class BSc FND fourth semester and BTech MTech fourth semester. In our previous session, we were discussed about the canning of fruits and vegetable, and in today's session, we will discuss about the drying of fruits and vegetable. It is a type of preservation of fruits and vegetable, and it will provide variety to the fruits and vegetable in the market to the consumer. Okay, so first of all, what is the drying? Drying is basically the removal of water from the food by non-conventional energy sources, for example, sunlight and wind. And what is dehydration? The dehydration is the process of removal of water from the food under the controlled condition like temperature, relative humidity, and airflow, etc. So the drying and dehydration is one of the oldest method of preserving food. Both drying and dehydration means the removal of moisture and water. Moisture removal of moisture stops the growth of bacteria, yeast and molds that normally spoil the food, as it will lowers the water activity of the fruits and vegetables, and it slows down but does not completely inactivate the enzymes. Next is, what are the benefits of dried food? The main benefit of dry food is that it is convenient for the owner, as it is easy to measure, easy to serve, easy to store, and easy to transport as well. They have unlimited shelf life under proper storage conditions. Transportation and handling and storage costs are reduced, and it also provides an important modern marketing requirement. It is easy and economical way to save surplus of food for later times. Portability can take it anywhere you go because it is light in weight. Okay, and it also helps in minimizing the post harvest losses. For the drying and dehydration of fruits and vegetable, first of all, we need to pick a fruit or a vegetable, whatever we need to dry. Then we have to wash that fruits and vegetable to remove the dust, dirt from the surface of the fruits and vegetable. Then after, we will also remove the blemishes from the fruits and vegetable, and we will peel that fruit. It will depends upon the what kind of fruit or vegetable we are going to dehydrate or dry. Okay, after that there is a step preparation. In preparation part, we basically peel, chop the fruits and vegetable into desired sizes, and that there is a pre-treatment. In pre-treatments, basically we will do the blanching to inactivate the enzymes and to stop the enzymatic browning. Then there is a spreading on a trays or the containers. By spreading over the trays or containers, we will basically ready our fruits and vegetable for drying process. Okay, by chopping and by cutting the fruits and vegetable, we basically increase the surface area of the fruits and vegetable, which will come in the direct contact of the air. After spreading on trays, the step is drying and dehydration. It may be done in various types of dryers depending upon which dryer is suitable for what kind of fruits and vegetable. Okay, next is post drying and dehydration treatments, and then after there is a packaging and storage of the fruits and vegetable. So mechanism involved in fruits and vegetable drying is number one is heat and mass transfer. Heat and mass transfer is basically we will provide heat to the product and moisture will escape out from the product. Next is the development of dried thick layer. At the initial stages of drying, moisture from the surface of food is removed. Later, it will become slow because of development of dried thick layer, which is due to the loss of moisture from the outer surface of the food and remaining of more moisture in the center of the food. Okay, that's why there is a development of thick layer. Next is establishment of moisture gradient. When dried thick layer is formed, it will act as an insulation against rapid heat transfer. Okay, when retained in the center of food which have moisture gradient to get out on the surface, which will not lose faster and establishes the moisture gradient. Next is the establishment of normal equilibrium relative humidity. This is the humidity at which the product neither loses nor gains moisture from the atmosphere. Below this atmospheric humidity level, the foods can be further dried, while above this humidity, it cannot. Rather, it will pick up moisture from the atmosphere as well. Now, the factors affecting the dry rate are number one is temperature. Higher the temperature, higher will be the drying rate. Then velocity of the air, higher the velocity of air, less will be the higher will be the drying rate. Next is the surface area, size of the product, tray load, relative humidity of air, and atmospheric pressure and vacuum. Next is the types of drying. Number one is sun drying and solar drying, because sun is a non-thermal source or natural resource of for drying, and then atmospheric drying including the batch, that is the kiln, tower, cabinet dryers, and continuous dryers are the tunnel dryer, belt trough dryer, fluidized bed dryer, foam mat dryer, and drum and microwave dryer. Next is the sub-atmospheric dehydration, in which vacuum shelf, belt, and freeze dryers are used. The scope has been expanded to include use of low temperature, low energy process like the osmotic dehydration. Then pre-treatments of for a drying process. Number one is we will do blanching. In blanching, there is a partial pre-cooking treatment in which fruits and vegetables are generally heated in a boiling water, and after that they will dip into the chilled water. So there is just a heat shock method in which the natural enzymes present in the fruits and vegetable will inactivate. For example, peroxidase, catalase, and polyphenol oxidase, which are responsible for the enzymatic browning in the fruits and vegetable. For example, in apples, pear, potatoes, etc. Okay, it will also remove the hardness of fruits and vegetable, and it is also reduce the bacterial load present in fruits and vegetable. Okay, next step is sulfuring. In sulfuring, there is a whole piece and whole fruit are exposed to fumes of burning sulfur in the closed chamber, which is known as a sulfur box. Okay, and it is done to check the growth of molds, and it is act as a preservative and antimicrobial agent as well. To prevent the oxidation and darkening, we will do the sulfuring. After that, we can also dip our fruits in the fruit juice and or in a honey dip, and a syrup blanching is also done for fruits, because we will consume fruits as a sweet. We will prefer the sweet fruits as compared to bland fruits, whereas we will prefer salty vegetables as compared to salty or bland vegetables as compared to sweet vegetables. Okay. Then post dehydration treatments of fruits and vegetables are number one is sweating. It is a process to hold the dehydrated foods for equalization of moisture before packaging. And then after there is a screening. screening is basically the unwanted size of pieces of products are removed by passing the dried products through the various screens. Next step is the inspection. In the inspection process, the dried product is inspected to remove discolored pieces and they are removed manually. Okay. Next is the fumigation. In this, it basically fixes the insect, including the eggs. Great care is necessary in using fumigants as carbon dioxide gas are highly poisonous, and the mixture of ethylene dichloride, ethylene oxide are also used for the fumigation process. Then what are the changes seen during the drying? So food materials do not have perfect elasticity and water is not removed evenly throughout the food as it is dried and causes the shrinkage. Due to high surface temperature and unbalanced drying, dry skin will form and causes case hardening. Enzymatic browning of products due to poor blanching is also seen. Then caramelization of sugars due to excess heat, or we can or the heating at high temperatures will lead to caramelization of sugars, because sugar is already present in fruits and vegetables, which will lead to the caramelization of the sugars. Then loss of volatile flavor constituents. At high temperature, the volatile flavors will escape out from the fruits and vegetables. Then partial loss of some essential nutrient like vitamin C, as vitamin C is heat labile nutrient which will destroy at high temperatures. So determining the dryness of fruit, drying fruit can take 6 hours for thin and small pieces or 10 to 12 hours for larger juicy fruits such as peach or apricot halves. Then dried fruit will feel leathery, won't stick to itself, and cut fruit should have no visible moisture content. For determining dryness of the vegetables, dry vegetables until brittle or crisp texture will achieve, and the moisture content of dried vegetables should be less than 10%. The dried products available in the market are dried figs, prunes, raisins. Raisins are basically dried grapes. Then champy sun-dried mandarin peels. Then dried peaches, dried apricots, dried strawberries, dried mango slices, sun-dried potato chips, dried tomato, and dried onions, etc. And dried mushrooms are available in the market. Then these dried products are also prone to spoilage by the microorganisms and by any other method. So in dried products, there are various defects seen. Number one is molding. Molding caused due to high product moisture above ERH. When we store the food product above the equilibrium relative humidity, then it will show molding defect, and it will be prevent by reducing the moisture content and packed in the hermetic airtight packages. Next is the infestation. The defect is infestation, and it is caused due to the presence of larvae or insects in the dried products. So how can we prevent this? This is prevented by storage in room, disinfection with fumigants, and disinfection by heat. That is, heat must be of 60 to 65 degrees Celsius of products before packaging. Next is the browning. The defect is browning. It is done by two methods, chemical reaction or by enzyme catalyzed reaction. Chemical reaction is done is prevented by reduced water content, store at low temperature, and enzyme catalyzed reaction is prevented by enzyme inactivation by the blanching before the drying process. And then reduced rehydration ratio, that is too high temperature at final stage of the storage. That is the reason or cause of the reduced rehydration ratio, and it will be prevented by operating final temperatures as recommended. Okay, so in your exam, You may ask like, what explain the dehydration process for apple or any other fruit product, and any other vegetable like beans and cauliflower, dried cauliflower. So you have to make a flow chart according to the requirements, and then after elaborate them briefly, and that flow chart is enough for the your exam purpose. And also in your exam there may you may be asked like they may be asked like, explain the advantages and disadvantages of the dried fruits and vegetables, explain spoilage and defects shown in the dried fruits and vegetables, and explain the different types of dryers and dehydrators used for fruits and vegetable. uh, these questions will be asked in your final exam. And that is enough for the today's session. Hope it will clear to all. Thank you so much for watching this video.